Hello and welcome to another episode of today's GK. I am Pooja Devedi, and in this segment we are going to discuss objective questions to help you with the preparation for prelims. So let's begin with the practice question of the last segment. With reference to nuclear fusion, consider the following statements. Heavy isotopes split apart to produce energy. It is the process that powers the sun and it takes place in the state of matter called plasma. We have to select the correct statement. Nuclear fusion. Here, small nuclei, they come together to form a big nucleus. Okay, so they come together and not split apart. In nuclear fission, there is splitting apart of heavy isotopes. So the first statement is incorrect. The second is correct because of the fusing together of the nuclei, becoming a nucleus. It provides energy, and that energy drives the sun, the power in the sun. And the third statement is correct, that it takes place in the state of the fourth matter known as plasma. So second and third are correct, the first is incorrect. The correct answer is option C. Moving on, we have discussed about nuclear fusion, and it is the opposite of fission. And harnessing fusion, the process that powers the sun, could provide a limitless clean source of energy. In the sun, the extreme pressure produced by its immense gravity creates the condition for fusion to happen. And at high temperatures, electrons are ripped from an atom's nuclei and to become a plasma or an ionized state of matter, plasma known as the fourth state of matter. Moving on, consider the following statements. Dormant volcanoes are the type of volcanoes that are not extinct but have not erupted in recent history. Shield volcanoes are known as the most explosive volcanoes of the earth, and Kilauea volcano in Hawaii is the example of dormant volcano. So, we have to select the correct statement. Dormant volcanoes are the type of volcanoes which are not extinct. They are still active, but they haven't erupted since a very long period of time. That is why they are known as dormant. Okay. So the first statement is correct. And caldera volcanoes are the most explosive ones, not shield. Also, Kilauea volcano is an example of active volcano. It is being erupted in very recent history, recent memory history. So, the second and the third are incorrect. Okay, the first is correct. The correct answer is option A, one only. The ground at the summit of Kilauea volcano in Hawaii has been rumbling and swelling in recent days, prompting scientists to warn that the mountain could once again disgorge lava. Dormant volcanoes, we have discussed about it, so we shall move forward. Calderas also, and about Kilauea also. Moving on. Which of the following is or are the applications of nanotechnology in the health sector? Eye surgery, detection of heart attack, drug delivery, removing toxins from the bloodstream. We have to select the correct statement. So, nanotechnology means development of robotics at a very minor scale, in minor size. That is why it is known as nanotechnology. And yes, it can be used for drug delivery for more precision. Also, eye surgery and detection of heart attack, as well as removal of toxins from the blood streams. So everything can be achieved with the help of nanotechnology. The correct answer should be option D. Recently, a group of scientists have found a way to tackle issues pertaining to root canal treatment, that is dental procedures, using nano-sized robots. Nanorobotics describe the technology of producing machines or robots at the nanoscale and uses of nanotechnology in healthcare, nanotech detectors for heart attack, nano carriers for eye surgery, chemotherapy, diabetic pads for regulating blood sugar level. Nanosponges are polymer nanoparticles coated with a red blood cell membrane and can be used for absorbing toxins and removing them from the bloodstream, and they can be used very effectively for drug delivery. Moving on. The EASE 4.0 reforms agenda recently seen in the news is related to reforms in which of the following areas? Global taxation reforms, banking reforms, higher judiciary reforms, or manufacturing sector reforms. So we have to select the correct answer. First, we should understand that EASE was launched in the year 2018 with the help of Government of India plus public sector banks, and EASE 4.0 is actually wanting to have an institutionalization of clean and green banking system, more smart banking system. So the correct answer to this question is option B. Recently, the Union Finance Minister undertook the annual performance review of the public sector banks and launched the EASE 4.0 or Enhanced Access and Service Excellence Reform Agenda. EASE Reforms Agenda was launched in January 2018 jointly by the government and PSBs. It is a common reform if we talk about 4.0 for PSBs aimed at institutionalizing clean, green and smart banking. Consider the following statements. Securities and Exchange Board of India is a quasi-legislative and quasi-judicial body that can draft regulations, conduct inquiries, pass rulings and impose penalties. The chairman of SEBI is nominated by the governor of RBI, and SAT, that is Securities Appellate Tribunal, has the same powers as vested in a civil court. We have to select the correct statement. So SEBI, yes, it is a quasi-legislative and quasi-judicial body that can draft regulations, also have inquiries and also pass reforms and rulings to impose penalties. And the chairman of SEBI is not nominated by the governor of RBI but the central government. Okay? And SAT has the same powers as vested in any civil court. Okay? Second is incorrect, the first and the third are correct. The correct answer is option C. Moving forward, recently the new SEBI regulations were approved. The new regulations have widened the scope of employees who can be offered stock options and brought in other key changes that will benefit the employees and listed companies issuing these options. We have discussed the first statement and the second and the third. Moving forward, consider the following statement. Chagos Islands used to be a part of the French colony, and the UN General Assembly adopted a resolution recognizing that the Chagos Archipelago forms an integral part of the territory of Mauritius. We have to select the correct statement. The UN General Assembly did pass a resolution recognizing that Chagos Archipelago, this belongs to Mauritius, the territory of Mauritius. And it was a former British colony, not a French colony. So the first statement is incorrect, the second is correct. The correct answer is option B, that is 2 only. Mauritius has welcomed the UN Postal Agency's decision to ban British stamps from being used on the Chagos Archipelago, calling it a victory for the island nation in its dispute with London. Chagos Island, we have discussed about it being a British colony, and the second statement as well. Consider the following statements with respect to Election Commission of India. Article 324 to 329 of the Constitution deals with powers, functions, tenure, eligibility of the Commission and the members, and the President appoints the Chief Election Commissioner and Election Commissioners. The Chief Election Commissioner can be removed from office only through a process of removal similar to that of Supreme Court judge by Parliament. We have to select the correct statement. So, Election Commission of India, a constitutional autonomous body, is responsible for conducting elections of the union and the state government. The first statement saying that Article 324 to 329 deals with the tenure, the functions and powers of the Chief Election Commission and the members. This is correct. Okay. Second statement is also correct, that the President appoints the CEC and the Election Commissioner, and the Chief Election Commissioner can be removed from the office only through a process of removal similar to that of a Supreme Court judge, and that is by the Parliament. So, all of them being correct, the correct answer is option D. The Election Commission's 2-day systematic voters education and electoral participation sweep consultation workshop ended yesterday, and this was in relation to the future elections of India. Also, we have discussed these statements, so we shall move forward. Yeah, we have discussed everything. Moving on. Consider the following statements with respect to Greater Male Connectivity Project. The seeds of the project were planted during the External Affairs Minister's visit to Male in September 2020, and this infrastructure project is the second largest ever by India in Maldives. We have to select the incorrect statement. Greater Male Connectivity Project. This was launched in the year 2019 and not 20, so the first statement is incorrect. And this infrastructure project is the largest ever to be built or launched by India, not the second largest. So both of them are incorrect. The correct answer is option C. Maldives Foreign Minister Abdullah Shaheed announced the signing of a $500 million infrastructure project. The Maldives government officially signed an agreement with Mumbai-based company Afcons for the construction of the Greater Male Connectivity Project. This infrastructure project is the largest ever by India in the Maldives, and it involves the construction of 6.74-kilometer long bridge and causeway link. It will connect the Maldives capital Malé with the neighboring islands of Willingli, Gulhifalu and Thilafushi. According to India's High Commission in the country, this project was funded by India in a grant of $100 million with a line of credit of $400 million. We have discussed the first statement and we shall move forward. Consider the following statements with respect to Jallianwala Bagh massacre. A crowd of at least 10,000 men, women and children gathered in Jallianwala Bagh to request the release of Dr. 𝐃𝐫𝐢𝐬𝐡𝐭𝐢 and Dr. Satyapal, and both of them were arrested against the Anarchical and Revolutionary Crimes Act of 1919. We have to select the correct statement. Jallianwala Bagh massacre, which occurred on 13th of April 1990. It was a peaceful protest when 10,000 men, women and children, they gathered peacefully without arms into a park to request the release of Dr. Satyapal and 𝐃𝐫𝐢𝐬𝐡𝐭𝐢. So the first statement is correct. And they were fired at by the orders of General Dyer. And both of them, if we talk about Dr. Satyapal and Dr. 𝐃𝐫𝐢𝐬𝐡𝐭𝐢, they were arrested against the Anarchical and Revolutionary Crimes Act of 1990, also known as the Rowlatt Act, under which the British masters could imprison or confine anyone without trial. So, these two statements are correct. The correct answer is option C. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will dedicate to the nation the renovated complex of Jallianwala Bagh Smarak at Amritsar in Punjab tomorrow evening through video conferencing. We have discussed about it. Moving on. The Anarchical and Revolutionary Crimes Act of 1919, popularly known as the Rowlatt Act or the Black Act, which was passed on 10th of March 1919, authorized the government to imprison or confine without a trial any person associated with seditious activities which led to nationwide unrest. On 13th of April 1919, a crowd of at least 10,000 men, women and children gathered peacefully in Jallianwala Bagh to request the release of Dr. 𝐃𝐫𝐢𝐬𝐡𝐭𝐢 and Dr. Satyapal. The two prominent leaders, who were a symbol of Hindu-Muslim unity, organized a peaceful protest against the Rowlatt Act. They were arrested and taken out of the city. Moving on, Hanumanta Rao Committee and G.V.K.Rao Committee are associated with which of the following aspects? So they are associated with Panchayati Raj institutions. The correct answer is option C. Moving on, Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla will inaugurate the Parliamentary Outreach Program for Empowerment of Panchayati Raj Institutions at Leh in the Union Territory of Ladakh today. And if we look at the important committees of Panchayati Raj, Balwant Rai Mehta Committee is one of them, Ashok Mehta Committee, another, Hanumant Rao Committee, after that G.V.K.Rao Committee, L.M. Singhvi Committee, Sarkaria Commission on Central and State Relations, P.K. Thungan Committee, Harlal Singh Kharra Committee. Moving on, a government scheme, Shaheed Bheema Nayak Pariyojana, is the scheme of which of the following states? It is the scheme of the state of Madhya Pradesh. The correct answer, option B. As a part of the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, All India Radio News will broadcast the heroic story of Bheema Nayak, a brave soldier of Nimar region in Madhya Pradesh who fought valiantly against the British in the freedom movement, and a government scheme known as Shaheed Bheema Nayak Pariyojana in Madhya Pradesh is named after him. Moving on to the practice question with reference to the Forum for Decarbonizing Transport. Consider the following statements. The forum was jointly launched by NITI Aayog and World Resources Institute of India. The forum is a part of the Nationally Determined Contributions Transport Initiative for Asia project. We have to select the correct statement. So I hope you will be answering it correctly in the comment segment. That's it for today. Tomorrow we shall meet again with another segment. Until then, stay updated and thank you so much for watching.